Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yes, I'm still holding my microphone. No, my set is not done, but look forward to that. So welcome back, and we are talking more about Tears of the Kingdom. Now in the last video, I did kind of reveal that I've been playing this and kind of wanted to make this video because a lot of people have been having questions about performance and if this game runs well. Plus, I want to talk a little bit more about my experience. I played an extra 5 or 6 hours since the last video, so let's get started. Also, there was a lot of people saying that I don't really have the game. This is the game. There's the cart. Can you see the cart? That's the cart. Yeah, I didn't download it or anything. I don't even know how to do that, but I am playing the game, and let's get started. Last disclaimer, spoiler warning, general spoiler warning. I know some people were upset about last video, and yeah, you clicked on a video with a guy that's played the game early. There's going to be some types of spoilers, no story spoilers. Okay, let's get into it now. The hot topic seems to be performance of Tears of the Kingdom, and actually, we had some good news recently because I made this entire video going over the performance of the game, and then Nintendo drops a patch for the game. So it is now at version 1.1. I have been playing on 1.0, but have since updated it, and here's what's going on. So in the last video, I was playing on 1.0, and I have to admit that the game did suffer from initial performance issues, mainly in the beginning area. So in Breath of the Wild, you started on the Great Plateau. In Tears of the Kingdom, you start on the Great Sky Island. A lot of the issues that I did experience did happen on that Sky Island sort of tutorial area, which had me very concerned for the rest of the game. Now, it mostly happened when I was using Ultra Hand, which is a huge problem because Ultra Hand is used throughout the game all the time in every sort of scenario. So it was sort of stuttering and hiccuping during that. I also had some problems when I was flying to different sky islands or just up in the sky in general. Sometimes the game would slow down, or in one instance, it just like freezed altogether. But that's in the past now, because I will say that the initial patch that Nintendo just dropped, the 1.1 patch, I have seen significant difference to the point where I deleted the last video I was going to make. Like, I was going to make sort of a sad sort of performance video. But now, I think a lot of those issues have changed. Now, here's the thing. I have not since gone back to the tutorial area, so I can't confirm, whether the performance is better when you first start the game. But I will say, just doing normal things, the game does appear to run a bit better. Now, it's worth keeping in mind, I'm sure we all know, but this game is still on the same Nintendo Switch hardware. Doesn't matter, like OLED doesn't, increase the game's performance or anything. We are still playing on the Switch. We are still playing on the same engine as Breath of the Wild. But I will say, performance pretty similar to Breath of the Wild, albeit a little bit better. Visually though, and this is kind of something that not a lot of people are talking about, I do see a difference in the visuals. Most notably, the water details and the water in general look a lot different. You can even see that through the early sort of trailers and press coverage that have come out. But the scenery, like even some of the effects and things like that are just improved in Tears of the Kingdom. And I think it's something that we all have to kind of appreciate. The fact that this team made a follow-up to the game, same engine and everything, and just visually it's improving is really good to hear. So overall, what I can say about the performance of this game, if you're familiar with Breath of the Wild, you're getting a little bit more of the same. It probably will stutter a little bit more, and I'm anticipating the performance to kind of vary when you're in the Sky Islands or going down from the Sky Islands or going sort of not so much north to south on the map, but east to west, because the map has to render in while you're actually playing the game. That's where I did see some stutters initially, but haven't since the patch. So that's my general performance review. It's good. It's not perfect in any sort of way, but I think that's more of a hardware issue than a software issue. So yeah, don't worry about the performance. It's going to, have its spikes it's going to act up a little bit, but that's just what we got. I mean, we're working on like a 2017 piece of hardware here. I do want to talk about more of my experience with the game though, if you guys are interested. If not, there's your performance review. I'll see you in the next video, but I did want to talk about my experience with Tears of the Kingdom. No story spoilers at all, but here's your spoiler warning. I'll wait. So it has been confirmed that there are dungeons in this game. It has been confirmed that there are shrines in this game. And it has been confirmed that there are caves in this game. And I will say all three of those things have hit in a good way. So let's start with shrines. In Breath of the Wild, they were kind of all over the place. Some were fun, some were just forgettable. I still think that is true about Tears of the Kingdom. It's not perfect. I do like the shrines though, but some of them have been really difficult. Like I said in the last video, some of them have been really difficult, and others have brand new, unique ideas that I'm not going to spoil, because when I experienced them, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. So I don't want to spoil that kind of stuff, but just know that there are unique new gameplay challenges that some of these shrines offer. And yes, it's the same thing with Breath of the Wild. You go into the shrine, you collect, it's not a spirit orb in this game, but you collect 4 of those, and then you can upgrade those for a stamina vessel or a heart container. So same thing. Now moving on to the caves. I have to say, the caves are my favorite part of Tears of the Kingdom so far. I know that might be silly, but I really enjoy the caves in this game. If you have ever played Skyrim before, they're very comparable to Skyrim. What are they called in Skyrim? Are they called dungeons in Skyrim? I don't even know what they are, but there's caves in Skyrim, and they feel like Skyrim caves. Some of them have kind of surprised me. Some of them are really small and they just have like a chest in them. Some of them have multi-layers and levels to them. And there is a collectible item in every cave. Now, it has been data mined that there are close to 400 caves. So there's 400 more collectibles that you need to have. But listen, I want to stress this because the caves are literally my favorite part. There's different kind of enemies in there. There's a bunch of loot that you can get. And like I said, there is one collectible per cave. So you'll know if you have searched, every inch of the cave. There's also really cool parts too. Like there's hidden pathways and passages behind waterfalls, and you just explore the entire cave. They're really cool. Now going into dungeons, let's talk about dungeons. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not even going to spoil where it is, but I did complete my first dungeon. And the journey to the actual dungeon was insane. I'm not even lying. One of the best Zelda experiences ever for me was getting to the dungeon. Very frustrating. There's no guides out for this game, so I'm like doing it alone here. Very interesting. It actually took me like 45 minutes to get to the dungeon. But once I got to the dungeon, it was themed based off of where it was and who it involved. And I will say that it did play similar to a Divine Beast. I know a lot of people have been hyping up dungeons, and I did think the dungeon was good, but it reminded me of the Divine Beast. When you went into the Divine Beast dungeons, I would say there was like 5 keys that you had to unlock or something, like 5 different terminals. That's what they were, terminals that you had to activate. In Tears of the Kingdom, the first dungeon that I did, the only dungeon that I did, there were, again, I think 5 or 6 things that I had to activate to then face the boss and stuff. So it does seem very on theme with Breath of the Wild, but I will say that the dungeon that I did do was much better, much more enjoyable, and the boss was simply amazing. And since the last video, just wanted to update you guys, I did get the paraglider. So this is what I did, okay? So when you first start the game, you start in the tutorial area. It takes about 2 hours. Then you go down to the base layer of Hyrule. And you're supposed to go right to this brand new town, and you're supposed to progress that way. What I did was I went back to the Great Plateau and was kind of adventuring around. I got destroyed by enemies because I didn't progress at all. I just wanted to explore. This game is very much open world, but it seems linear in the sense that they kind of force you to do things. Like they're basically forcing you to start the story, at least start the story, because then you'll get the paraglider and some other things. So it was my fault. I swear I'm not bad at Zelda. Now I'm much better. I've only died a few times since then. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to kind of reassure you guys on the performance. I will say that the 1.1 patch has made a big difference. They did similar things to Breath of the Wild. I remember there was an initial patch, may have come out before launch or at launch, that greatly fixed the performance of the game. I remember the Great Plateau didn't really run well. But just know that this game does run pretty much on par with Breath of the Wild. It does more than Breath of the Wild, so it's more impressive. But yeah, there you go. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think this is game of the decade. I really do. If any of you had any fears of how this game lived up to Breath of the Wild, I would say this is Nintendo at its best. There are moments in the game where I've just stopped and just tried to compose myself because what I'm experiencing is so fantastic. Like I can't tell you guys how great this game is. You won't have to wait long. You could play it. I'll be streaming it day one, actually before day one, on this channel if you want to subscribe, if you haven't yet. But yeah, let me know any questions you have in the comment section. I will try to answer them, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out. I'm going to set up this mic stand now because I can't keep holding it.